Hi everybody. Today we're going to learn about English usage 2. This is your third chapter of your concept book. We're going to learn two topics. The first being modifiers and the next is parallel construction. Now as we know, modifiers are nothing but descriptions. When they are used in a sentence, they describe something that is given in the sentence. Modifiers can either be adjectives or adverbs. When an adjective acts as a modifier, it describes a noun or a pronoun, and when an adverb acts as a modifier, it describes three things: verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Now, when we look at modifiers, we've also understood that modifiers can be a group of words. If they are not just one word, they can be an entire clause. So, modifiers thus can be one word or they can be group of words. Now, the main rule that concerns modifiers is that modifier and the modified have to be placed next to each other. If the modifier and the modified are not placed next to each other, the sentence becomes grammatically incorrect. So we need to then identify the errors which relate to the usage of modifiers. Modifiers, the first error that relates due to modifiers is known as misplaced modifier. In this modifier, the modifier, which is the description, and the modified, that is the thing that is being described, are not placed together. So, in short, as the name suggests, it is misplaced. We need to bring the description close to the word or phrase that it should describe. So, we need to bring the modifier close to the word or phrase that it should describe. That is the first type of error, that is misplaced modifier. The second type of error is known as dangling modifier. Now, dangling modifier is the error in which the modified, which is the subject of the sentence, is not present. All we need to do is add a subject so that the sentence becomes complete and it starts making sense. When I talk about adding subjects, we can only add subject pronouns as I, we, this is first person, you, which is second person subject pronoun, he, she, it, they, these are third person. And if we are using for somebody in general, we can use the pronoun one, O-N-E, one. So let's see, the first type of question is based on misplaced modifier. If I say Vivek's brother said that he had seen a corpse on his way back home from school. Now the sentence is vaguely incorrect because corpse means a dead body. And he wouldn't say that the dead body was on his way back home from school. Who was on his way back home from school? It was Vivek's brother. So I will reframe the sentence as, on his way back home from school, Vivek's brother said that he had seen a corpse. So now, on his way back home from school, which is my modifier or a phrase, is describing Vivek's brother and not the corpse. So the sentence becomes grammatically correct. The second question is relating to dangling modifier. It says, in sending the pizza to that address, the wrong house received the delivery. Now, who discovered that the wrong house received the delivery? Or who was sending the pizza to that address? No subject is mentioned. So you can correct this as, in sending the pizza to that address, Domino's discovered that the wrong house received the delivery. Or instead of Domino's, you could just put an I or a V and say, in sending the pizza to that address, we discovered that the wrong house received the delivery. Third question is also an example of dangling modifier. While watching the movies, the light started to flicker. Who was watching the movie? So you could say, while we were watching the movie, the light started to flicker. And hence, by adding a subject pronoun we, I have made the sentence correct. Fourth is a question of parallel construction. It is not a question of modifier. Wherever we use scarcely or rarely or barely, with that we use when. Here in the sentence, it is not be used in a correct manner. The correct pair of conjunctions is not used. So scarcely had I reached the station when the train had left. This is my correct sentence. I have completed it by using the correct combination of conjunctions. Fifth question is another example of dangling modifier. While talking to the vet, the cat lay at my foot. Who was talking to the vet? So while I was talking to the vet, the cat lay at my foot. Again, we have added a subject pronoun I. Sixth one now. I have a coffee stain on my shirt that cannot be removed. Now this is an example of misplaced modifier. What cannot be removed? I think that is the stain and not the shirt. But when we say on my shirt that cannot be removed, it gives me a vague idea that the shirt cannot be removed, which is incorrect. So I will change this as on my shirt I have a coffee stain that cannot be removed. Hence I have shifted the description to the coffee stain. Next, I had almost watched the entire movie when the man in front of me suddenly shouted, "The butler did it." This is also a very fine example of misplaced modifier. Almost is misplaced. Almost should have been with the action of the entire movie. So almost should be describing the entire movie and not the action of watching. So it should be I had watched almost the entire movie when the man in front of me suddenly shouted, "The butler did it." That makes my sentence correct. Eighth has two errors. This is also an error relating to misplaced modifier. Readers of all ages enjoy Joseph Conrad's novels today, an author who did not receive much attention until after he died. The first error is with respect to readers of all ages. And second error is about Joseph Conrad, who is an author. So I should have Joseph Conrad next to the author, since it's the name of the author. And readers of today, and not today, all ages, right? So I will reconstruct it as today, readers of all ages enjoy the novels of Joseph Conrad, an author. So I've placed Joseph Conrad next to an author describing who the author is, an author who did not receive much attention until after he died. Ninth one is a question of comparison between adjective and adverb. Now, an adjective describes a noun or a pronoun. An adverb describes verb, adjective, and other adverb. When we talk about active performance, since verb does an active performance, adverb describes active performance, and adjective describes passive performance. The ninth one says he writes so good that he was asked to submit his manuscripts to the editor. He writes. Writes is an active performance. I cannot use an adjective good here. I will have to use the adverb well. So he writes so well that he was asked to submit his manuscripts to the editor. This is the case of the usage or confusion in the usage of adjective and adverb. Stating your terms clearly strengthens your case. This is an example of misplaced modifier, but a subcategory known as this is a subcategory which is known as squinting modifier. I have two ideas to be modified with a single modifier placed in between. My idea number one is stating your terms, and idea number two is strengthening your case. Clearly stated in the middle. Now, clearly is not either modifying any one of the idea. So in order to resolve such questions, we bring the modifier close to any one word that it should modify. So clearly stating your terms strengthens your case. This could be one kind of option. or stating your terms strengthens your case clearly. This can be my second type. So hence, this becomes squinting modifier, and I have two answers for the same. 11th is an example of misplaced modifier. By accident, I poked a little boy with my finger in the eye. Don't you think that it's erroneous when I say with my finger in the eye? So to correct it, I will replace the ideal description with the word being described. So by accident, I poked a little boy in the eye with my finger. So where did you poke? You poked in the eye, and hence it starts making sense. 12th is an example of dangling modifier. To become a respected politician, campaign funds must be carefully administered. Campaign funds must be carefully administered by whom? So to become a respected politician, one must administer campaign funds carefully. This is how I correct the error, and the answer is of dangling modifier. And since it is not for I or you, I have used the pronoun one. 13 is an example of misplaced modifier. And I hope by far you must have understood how to identify the types of errors. The soccer team only won 4 games in the last 3 years. Now, it is not a question of only winning or losing, it is a question of being only 4. So, the adverb only should be with 4 and not with 1. So, the soccer team won only 4 games in the last 3 years will be my correct option. 14th is a fine example of dangling modifier. Without a plan for the weekend, a Saturday matinee seemed a good idea at the time. Who was without a plan for the weekend, and for whom did a Saturday matinee seem a good idea? So, as we were without a plan for the weekend, a Saturday matinee seemed a good idea at the time. 15th is yet another example of misplaced modifier. Swinging wildly through the trees, the children were delighted by the monkeys. Now, who was swinging and who were delighted? So, obviously, the monkeys were swinging and the children were delighted. So, we will reconstruct it as the children were delighted by the monkeys swinging wildly through the trees. 16 says, when taking a grammar quiz, concentration is everything. Now, who is taking a grammar quiz and for whom is concentration everything? So, when one is taking a grammar quiz, concentration is everything. Since again it is for a common reference, we take the pronoun one. Having finished the assignment, the TV was turned on. Again, a fine example of dangling modifier. Who finished the assignment and who turned on the TV? So, having finished the assignment, I turned the TV on. I have used subject pronoun I. The mystery has been solved after 10 years of missing portrait. The mystery of the missing portrait has been solved after 10 years. So this clearly describes the mystery. So the modifier and the modified has become in the right place. Without knowing his name, it was difficult to introduce him. Now, who did not know his name and for whom it was difficult to introduce? So, as I did not know his name, it was difficult for me to introduce him. Or you could say, without knowing his name, I found it difficult to introduce him. If people are thinking we can take me instead of I, it will be incorrect. You are only supposed to introduce a subject and not an object, and me becomes an object pronoun. 28. The thoughts that Ted presented that were about shifting national priorities were well received. Now, if you see, there is a redundancy because we've used two tags. And we've learned in pronouns that we can only use one tag, and if there is a specific or important information, we use which. If it is extra information, we use that. Here, that were about shifting national priorities is an extra information. So I will use it along with which. The thoughts that Ted presented, which were about shifting national priorities, were well received. The next few questions are based on adjective and adverb. As I said, adjective gives us passive performance, adverb gives us active performance. Here in 21st, we're talking about the action of speaking. She spoke quicker than he did. Since it's a comparative degree, and since we need to replace it with an adverb, my answer would be she spoke more quickly than he did. 22nd, the sentence itself sounds incorrect when we read it. Ruchi felt badly about forgetting Amit's birthday. Again, the sentence is incorrect. So we will take it as Ruchi felt bad about forgetting Amit's birthday. 23rd talks about again an adjective and an adverb. She looked suspicious. We are looking at action of looking. It's an active performance. We need to take an adverb. So she looked suspiciously at the man wearing the trench coat. I have taken an adverb instead of adjective. When was the last time you had no allergy symptoms and felt good? We're talking about how you feel. And generally, in terms of health, we never say we feel good. We say we are feeling well. So my answer would be, when was the last time you had no allergy symptoms and felt well? 25th is the question of double comparison. I have three comparative degree, guys. Comparative, positive, comparative, and superlative. So positive being good, comparative being better, and superlative being best. I can't have two double comparison, right? So double comparison is an error. So you can't say I've never been more surer of anything in my life. This becomes double comparison. So you would rather say I've never been surer of anything in my life, or you would rather say I have never been more sure of anything in my life. I hope with this we are clear with modifiers. Let us go to parallel construction. Parallel construction is where we express related ideas in the same grammatical form. The ideas that are alike in function should be alike in construction as well. So we express related ideas that are given to us in the same grammatical form. So let us do the questions on parallelism. If I say the first question, she likes cooking, jogging, and to read, it's a very obvious answer. We can take all three to be as gerunds and give the answer as she likes cooking, jogging, and reading. Second question says Kapil admires people with integrity and who have character. With integrity is fine, but who have character is a distortion. It is giving an extra importance to the second idea. So I might as well write the answer as Kapil admires people with integrity and character. The third one, the main idea has been distorted. When I say the hurricane not only destroyed the fishing fleet but also the homes of the fishermen, the two things that the hurricane destroyed is fishing fleet and homes of the fishermen. So I need to take hurricane destroyed together and then say not only the fishing fleet but also the homes of the fishermen. So my answer would be the hurricane destroyed two things. And what were the two things? Not only the fishing fleet but also the homes of the fishermen. So the hurricane destroyed not only X, which is fishing fleet, but also Y, which is the homes of the fishermen. Fourth says the production manager was asked to write his report quickly, accurately, and in a detailed manner. Now, my main idea over here is the production manager was asked to write his report. Quickly is my first idea. Accurately is the second one, which is an adverb. And third is in a detailed manner, which needs to be converted into an adverb. So quickly, accurately, and thoroughly. Thoroughly becoming an adverb which expresses in a detailed manner. Fifth question now. The main idea is the teacher said that he was a poor student because he. Now related idea 1 is waited until the last minute to study for the exam. Related idea 2 is completed his lab problems in a careless manner. And related idea 3, which is incorrect, is his motivation was low. Since I have two verbs in the ed form, the third one also has to be put into an ed form. So my answer would be waited until last minute to study for the exam, completed his lab problems in a careless manner, and lacked motivation. lacked motivation will make it parallel. The coach told the players that they should get a lot of sleep, that they should not eat too much, and to do some warm up exercises before the game. Let's figure out what is the main idea. So, the main idea is the coach told the players that they should. No, in fact, the coach told the players that is going to be my main idea. That they should get a lot of sleep is my first related idea. That they should not eat too much is my second related idea. And correcting the third one, I would say that they should do some warm up exercises before the game. So all my three related ideas are starting with that they should, that they should. Seventh one, the salesman expected that he would present his products at the meeting, that there would be time for him to show his slide presentation, and that questions would be asked by prospective buyers. Now, the salesman expected is my main idea. First is an active voice that he would present his products in the meeting. Second is also an active voice that there would be time for him to show his slide presentation. But the third one is not in an active voice, so making it as active it would be, and that prospective buyers would ask him questions. This makes my sentence parallel because all the three related ideas are in active voice. Eighth one, again the main idea has been distorted. You must either do two things. And what are the two things? Grant his request or incur his ill will. So you must becomes my main idea, and then I have two correlative conjunctions. Either grant his request or incur his ill will. And that's how my answer becomes correct. My objections are first the injustice of the measure, second that it is unconstitutional. When I say first the injustice of the measure, it's a noun clause, and second that it is unconstitutional, it's an adjective. And I need to convert one into a noun or the other into an adjective. It would be easier to convert injustice into adjective, that would be unjust. So my objections are first that the measure is unjust, second that it is unconstitutional. Both become adjective forms, hence correct. Last question now for parallel construction. The conditions for signing the contract are first, the commissioner has to approve the terms, second, that the other players must sign as well. And the first related idea you have used has to, second related idea you have used must. The meaning of both the ideas is the same. So her conditions for signing the contract are first, the commissioner has to approve the terms, second, that the other players have to sign as well. This can be your answer. There can be another possible answer when you take must on both sides and say, our conditions for signing the contract are first, the commissioner must approve the terms, second, that the other players must sign as well. So I hope you've understood both modifiers and parallel construction. Thank you so much, guys.